down her fork and peered across the table to me. She remarked calmly, "You're not helping enough. Don't be stingy." I blinked. I assumed she was joking. I waited for somebody else to chuckle. Nobody did. My dad then said, without looking up from his plate, "Well, she's not wrong." At that point, everything inside me went silent. It was as if one part of me turned off and another came online. I glanced at the folks I'd spent my entire life attempting to assist and encourage. They looked at me as if I hadn't accomplished enough. So I grinned, stepped up and said, "Then live without my money." My wife did not respond. She just woke up with me. We gathered our children and departed. I didn't say anything while driving home. I opened my phone and began canceling everything. I terminated the weekly transfers. I canceled their rent payments. I closed all shared accounts. I cut off the shopping card they used every month as if it were their own. I was finished. Ryan arrived outside my house the next morning at 7:42 a.m. No call. There's no text. He simply showed up and began hammering on my front door as if it were a matter of life and death. He was not angry. He was desperate. He explained that they couldn't pay their rent, that their landlord had already called, and that they didn't even have enough gas to travel to the food bank. Eudora sat in the van behind him. I could hear her cry even though the door was closed. She was not asking, she was demanding. She told me that I couldn't do this to them because I had obligations. She called me selfish. And that was only the beginning of what became a full-fledged conflict. I did not open the door that morning. I stood behind it, and heard Ryan's voice change from pleading to panic. I knew if I opened the door even slightly, he'd start with the sob story, and I'd give in. That was the old me, the one who still believed people were interested in something other than what I could provide them. So I let him knock. Then I let him go. 3 hours later, my mother called. I didn't respond. Then followed the texts. She spoke first, followed by Eudora. My father didn't text. He never does. But I saw that he saw my WhatsApp status, so I knew he was aware. The messages started off pleasant. "We need to talk. Don't do anything rash. This is family." Then the tone changed. "How could you let your niece and nephew go hungry? Your sister is in tears. Is that what you want? You're punishing children for adult problems. Shame on you." It was like witnessing someone have a tantrum in real time. The interesting thing was that none of them asked me what I needed. No one inquired, "Are you okay?" No one questioned why I cut them off. They already knew. By Tuesday, calls were flowing from all directions. My uncle texted me. A cousin I hadn't seen in 2 years messaged me and asked what was going on. Eudora had given everyone a skewed version of events, depicting me as a cold-hearted sibling who abruptly abandoned the family. She repeatedly used the phrase, "abandoning us." I ignored it all. That was, until my mother showed up at my office. She never visits me at work. Ever. I was in the middle of a project meeting when my receptionist came in and informed me that there was a woman present who claimed to be my mother. I stepped outside. There she sat in the waiting area, arms crossed, like if I had just sold family secrets to a tabloid. She didn't ask to sit down. She did not ask if I had time. She just got right into it. "You embarrassed Eudora. You hurt her children. She's your sister, Drake." I kept my voice calm. I went on. "You all sat there while she called me stingy. You all agreed with her. After everything." She looked at me as if I was speaking a different language. "She's struggling," she remarked. "She's not herself." I inquired. "And what about me? Am I not allowed to get tired? To stop being a human ATM?" She said, "You're better off than them." I nodded. I then told her the truth. This was not about money, it was about disrespect. I stated that I was not going to finance those who despised me for possessing what they decided not to earn. She did not say anything after that. She simply stood up and walked out. She did not even say goodbye. That night, Eudora sent me a fresh message. There's no "hi," or "can we talk?" Only this. "You should fix this, Drake. You will not be pleased with the outcome if you do not." I stared at it for quite a while, then I blocked her. She was correct about one thing. She was not going to enjoy what happened next. By Thursday, the stillness seemed strange. No calls, no texts. Just silent. That wasn't how Eudora worked. When she desired something, she fought for it or burned everything down in the process. Then I received the call. Not from her, however, from the landlord. Ryan and Eudora apparently informed him that I was going through a difficult time and that payments would resume once I settled down. He had waited 2 weeks. Their rent was beyond late, and he was tired of making excuses. He asked if I intended to resume the payments. I was very straightforward in saying no. I told him to treat them like any other tenants. He sighed, and admitted that he had figured as much. He said that he would give them notice by the end of the week. I didn't feel well after the call. In reality, I felt nothing at all. That night I sat on the back porch for quite some time. I recalled every time I jumped in and helped them out without being asked. I remember Eudora guilt-tripping me into paying for her anniversary meal because she thought they deserved a night out as well, after she saw that I had taken my wife to a resort. I also remembered buying Ryan a laptop to help him launch his freelance company. He pawned it 3 months later. They didn't simply use me. They despised my ability to assist them. That's when something clicked. This was not about suffering. It was about pride. They despised the fact that I possessed something they lacked, and that they relied on me. So, I stopped giving. But it wasn't enough. I wanted them to feel it. All of it. So I began pulling the rug out from under them. First, I called my cell phone carrier to terminate the family plan. I hadn't checked the bill in a while. It turned out Eudora had added 2 iPads and Ryan had upgraded his phone on my account last year. Everything was still in my name. I turned off all lines except mine and my wife's. They'd find out the next time they attempted to order an Uber. The Costco card came next. Years ago I connected my parents to the account so they could use it to make purchases. I never thought about it. But out of curiosity, I looked into recent activity. Groceries, televisions, and tires. Not for emergencies. Simply free shopping. So I canceled the card entirely. Then came the automobile. This one was personal. Ryan's automobile broke down 2 years ago, and he and his family begged me for help. I bought them an old SUV, registered it in my name, and paid for the insurance. They agreed to start paying the insurance after 6 months. They never paid a penny, so I filed for a voluntary repossession. At 3 a.m., a towing firm picked up the automobile from their street. I did not say anything. I did not send any warnings. I wanted them to wake up and realize what they'd been taking for granted. By Friday, the situation had dramatically intensified. Eudora called me from another number. She left a voicemail. It was 5 minutes of outrage and self-pity. She accused me of abandoning her children, claimed I was drunk with power, and then said I owed her another chance to explain. Then followed the text to my wife. Paragraphs of emotional blackmail. She said I was breaking up the family, and that she had never asked for any of this. Never asked. I opened my phone and scrolled. Can you cover daycare? We need groceries. We are short on rent. The automobile had broken down again. Can you cover Ryan's therapy? We are out of formula. Can you help with the electricity simply till the end of the month? It went on and on. I screenshot 5 of these texts and sent them to my wife. She stopped Eudora. I didn't expect what happened next. On Friday night my mom texted me. They're here. Only for a few days. It wasn't until the next morning that I realized what she meant, when I read Eudora's Facebook picture of the guest room at my parents' house, with the remark, "Back where we are actually cherished. Family first." That's when it struck me. They did not go silent because they were giving up. They were swapping hosts. Instead of holding them accountable, my parents accepted it. They moved in like royalty. My father began forwarding me food receipts saying, "Since we're feeding extra mouths now." My mother contacted me to say they needed aid with utilities until they were back on their feet. I laughed. I then told her, "No." She inquired, "You aren't going to aid us either?" I responded, "I helped for 3 years. I'm done now." And I intended it. But I knew it would not end there. If I cut Eudora off and they moved in with my parents, it wouldn't be enough. I would have to cut them all off. I had a strategy for it. They assumed I'd give in. They anticipated that I would ultimately crack and send another transfer, pay another debt, and feel terrible enough to give in. They underestimated how quickly someone could go from fatigued to finished. I wasn't angry anymore. I was simply finished. I waited several days. I let them settle into the comfort